Hey, everybody. I am here to just talk about using either Twitter or TweetDeck for following a Twitter chat. The first is just being on twitter.com. When you go to twitter.com, the home screen is going to look sort of like this. I have the dark mode enabled. Yours might have a white background, but it's basically the same. You're going to jump right onto your home page. When you want to follow a chat, you're just going to type that chat right into Twitter. So, of course, the last thing I searched was the virtual BT chat. And when you search, the first thing that's going to come up is a top hit. And that's going to be something that has been looked at or shared often the most. Sometimes it's the most recent one that's been interacted with by somebody else. What you want to be on is the latest tab. And the latest tab is going to keep the most recent tweet using that hashtag at the top. You can, of course, scroll down through and read other tweets that came before. But when questions are posted and replies are posted that you might want to reply to, you're going to want to go to that latest tab. Twitter's really good because it's simple, it's easy. You can just constantly click this latest, constantly refresh it. The problem is that if you get into side conversations or if you are replying to somebody else and you get a notification that they liked your post or they favorited it or they've replied to you or asked you a question, you're going to end up over here in your notifications tab. You're going to get a notification that pops up on the bell. When you click on that, the problem there is that you've now lost your search. If you go back to explore, right, you've lost that. Even if you go back to search, of course, that's going to be here, but it's a number of clicks to get back to where you were. You then, every time you go back to a search, it's going to bring you to the top again. You're going to want to go back and click on the latest. So it absolutely works. Unfortunately, if you end up in side conversations where people are favoriting or liking what you've said, they've retweeted what you've said, you might find yourself bouncing back and forth and having to click a whole lot. The other option is to use a program called TweetDeck. TweetDeck was bought by Twitter a number of years ago, so you don't need a separate login. When you open TweetDeck for the first time, you're going to use your normal Twitter login, and you're probably just going to have a home tab. What TweetDeck does is it builds columns, and you can have multiple things open at the same time. You probably won't have a great GIF of the Floby here on the top of yours. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add a column. So home is just going to be like your normal Twitter feed. It's everybody that you follow in order from most recent and on down. You're going to want to add a column. And in this, you would search. It's going to bump you right over to the search over here. And of course, it populated for me because the last thing I searched was my virtual BT chat. You would just type it in, make sure you put the hashtag. And when you hit return or enter, it's going to create a column just for that. And it's automatically going to refresh the feed to the most recent tweet that went out with that hashtag. So that's going to be there. One thing that I recommend is if you click on add column, you can very quickly add a column for your notifications. You go ahead, it'll show you what it's going to look like. You add column. I don't know if you could see that in the background, but it actually put the column up. You have to X out, and there's my notifications. And then I would also add one for your mentions, and that's going to be when somebody has mentioned you. So for instance, Neil Schledhorn mentioned me in a tweet, and that's going to be sitting at the top. In TweetDeck, all of these columns auto-refresh. The only time you would miss something is if you've scrolled down into each one. When that happens, if you have something new at the top, it will get a little blue aura at the very, very top. And that will show you that a new tweet has come in and you can check it. What I like to do when I'm in a Twitter chat is actually have the chat column open, notifications, and mentions. I actually will move those. You can just grab them. You get your little move tool here, and I will move those in order. And for the hour or so that I'm engaged in the Twitter chat or when I check back, I actually move my home tab, which is just my general everybody I follow, off to the right. And then I open a tweet box. And what that does is shifts everything to the right. And then it gives you a spot where you can actually type your tweet. One thing to remember, whether you're in Twitter or in TweetDeck, is that you need to add the virtual BT chat, the hashtag for whatever it is you're following, whether that's virtual BT chat, which is our chat, or it's ed chat or hashtag NCEd. Or a great chat to follow right now is EdTech Chat. So it's hashtag EdTech Chat. That's on Monday nights, I believe, at 8. There's another one for teachers that are about to go into the classroom, coming out of teacher prep. But it also is followed by a lot of fresh, brand new teachers, first and second year teachers, and that's the Elon Ed Chat. And that's hashtag Elon Ed, and that's on Sunday nights. But this hopefully will help you look for that. When the chat goes on, it does move a little bit fast, and so you're just going to want to refresh. For the first couple times, you may just want to follow the conversation and hold off on tweeting until you feel comfortable. At the second or third chat, you might want to chime in. You also might see one specific question or comment that you really want to reply to. And you're going to reply, if you haven't used Twitter before, with this little speech bubble that would let me reply to somebody. Of course, the heart is to favorite something or to like something. And then this is to retweet. That's going to reshare to all of your followers. And that's something that you may use. And so you can actually see if it's one of your tweets, which this is one of mine, this was retweeted once. And that's going to pop up in my notifications here that April Burko retweeted my tweet about tomorrow's chat. So I hope that's helpful. Just one little way to kind of follow along. Again, I like TweetDeck a whole lot better than Twitter for this because it allows me to kind of see all of these and I don't have to click back and forth between those windows.